Hello everyone. In this video, I will be discussing STDs and having responsible sex. First off, everybody should already know that you're supposed to have safe sex. And if you don't know, I'm here to tell you, please have safe sex. Wear some kind of protection, men, for as condoms, and women be on some birth control, and also have your partner to wear protection during sexual intercourse. It is very, very important. I can't stress that enough when I'm talking to young people about this and some older people. STDs and having responsible sex. First off, I'm going to talk about some of the common STDs. Some of the common STDs are as follows: genital warts. With genital warts, the signs and symptoms are itching, and you will have a wart in your genital area. And everyone knows that a wart is a bump, and you will have that in your genital area. The only cure for that is freezing of the warts, and it's spread through anal or oral, genital conduct, or vaginal. Herpes, there is no known cure for herpes. That's why it's so important to have responsible sex, so you will not get any of these STDs. None of these STDs will be spread to you. Trichomoniasis, trig, common STD also. Trig can be treated with an antibiotic. Chlamydia. Chlamydia can lead to worse things like infertility. When you get older, you can have sex with someone and they had trig and didn't let you know that they had trig, and you can go ahead on and get married to that person. And if they didn't let you know that they had that, and you had unprotected sex with them, and y'all decide to have a child, it could be chances slim to none that you won't get pregnant. Women and men also, because it can cause infertility. And chlamydia is treated with an antibiotic, of course. Treated and cured with the antibiotic. So there is a cure for that one. Unlike herpes, there's no known cure. Once again, gonorrhea is called another common STD. It's called, in the street, it's called clap. And you can be treated with a single dose of antibiotic with gonorrhea. Bacterial vaginosis, women, that is treated with a gel that you insert into your vagina. Bacterial vaginosis is a very common STD that most women contract. And none of these STDs have to be spread, because the simple fact that you can have responsible sex. We can't stress it enough. If you have sex, oral, anal, or vaginal intercourse, or genital touching, you can get an STD. STDcheck.com is a wonderful website. If you feel like you have any kind of STD of any sort, you can go on this website and you can check the signs and symptoms. And if you feel like you have an STD, the best thing to do is to get to the nearest clinic or go to your family doctor, or women, you can go to your OB/GYN, because it's just that serious nowadays. You do not want to be walking around itching, burning, any of that stuff, and it can be prevented or it can be cured. Just go as soon as you feel like you have any symptoms of these things. The best thing for you to do is to go to your nearest clinic or to your nearest doctor or OB. Women and men, go to your nearest clinic. STD symptoms and what to look for. You can look for any kind of burning or itching or anything in your genital area. Women often get a discharge of some sort when they have some kind of infection. Men, you might itch or burn, or you can even, some people actually can see a bump or something coming in that area. And if you feel like you have a bump or some kind of lump or some form, please go to your nearest clinic or doctor and find out what's going on with you. Because if you have a STD, you can easily spread it to someone else or to someone innocent. Maybe not even someone that you're in a relationship with. Just say, for instance, you have a fling or you have unprotected sex with someone that you're not in a relationship with, or even somebody that you are in a relationship with and they don't have STD. That is really, really bad for you to give that person that STD when you know you could have did something about it in the beginning. That is so unfair to them. And it's also unfair to you. And you have to take care of your body also, to be walking around knowing that you might have an STD and you didn't get it taken care of, or you didn't seek medical attention that you should have. Another good website to go to is www.mayoclinic.org. They have a lot of the common STDs and their symptoms and everything on that website. That's a wonderful website to go to, because that's actually the website that I went to and researched some of the STDs and the signs and symptoms of the STDs. So you can go to that website. I included some of the signs and symptoms of gonorrhea, chlamydia, herpes, warts, and some of the other common STDs in this video. In this video, I attached some of the STDs and the signs and symptoms of them and the common disorders. And you will see that attached to this video while you're watching this video. And there's just so much that you can go on and talk about. But the most important thing is to have responsible sex. You do not want to sleep with another person and not protect yourself. I don't care how well you know that person. You do not want to do that, because that is terrible. Because you can be putting yourself at risk of having or getting the HIV virus. It can be just that serious. Or you can get warts, or you can get herpes, or you can get chlamydia or gonorrhea. All of these things can be prevented if you would just have you would have protected sex and not have unprotected sex. And everyone talks about, oh, it feels different. It doesn't matter. It's better to get protected sex, to have protected sex and have a feeling of security, a feeling of being protected from getting a STD or infection from another person. It's just that serious. Anyone would rather have sex protected than to have sex unprotected, because unprotected sex can lead to all of these STDs that we've talked about in this video. And you definitely do not want to contract a STD or STI, which is a sexually transmitted infection. You do not want to attract any of these things, because for the simple fact, these signs and symptoms are just that, signs and symptoms. These conditions can actually get worse than what they start out to be if untreated. Sometimes you can treat these diseases and you can treat these um, infections and stuff and not catch them in time, and they can develop into worse things happening to you. And infertility is a bad thing because a woman can be ready and settle down with her husband and get married, have a husband, and don't have any kids and want to have a child. And then when you go have your child, getting ready to have your conceive, you're having trouble getting pregnant because of the simple fact you slept with a guy years ago, and that guy actually gave you chlamydia and did not tell you that he gave you that. That is very devastating. That would be devastating to anyone because you definitely do not want to have STD or STI, and you have it for a long period of time and no one not tell you that you have this disease or that you have this infection and you not know. That's just terrible. That's just like, for example, you go to the doctor and the doctor knows that you have cancer, but he doesn't tell you until you get in your last stage. And you're trying to figure out what's wrong with you because you're having all these signs and symptoms that that you don't know what's going on with yourself or where they're coming from, and come to find out they're actually coming from you having cancer and your doctor not letting you know that you have cancer. So that's just as bad with the STD, because if you don't have any knowledge of you having the STD and you're not having all those signs and symptoms of having that STD, then 9 times out of 10 you won't know that you have it. Because you can have a STD or a sexually transmitted infection and not have the signs and symptoms that another person would have when they encounter this infection or disease. It's a lot of people that I know personally, and it's a lot of people that I've had discussions with and that are openly about their sexually transmitted disease that they got from another individual, and they had no recollection of them even knowing that they had the disease until they went to the doctor. They had some of the signs and symptoms, but they knew that something in their body was not the same. Something was abnormal. So they actually went to the doctor, found out they had it, and then they got treated and cured. And this is exactly what I'm talking about. That's why it is so important to have responsible sex. If you're in a relationship with someone and you want to have protected sex and they don't, then that is not the person for you to be in a relationship with. The best thing for you to do is to get your bags and get it packing, because anybody knows and everybody knows that it's best to have protected sex. Do not, I repeat, do not, even with these husbands and wives, why would you not have protected sex before you get married? Now, after you get married, a lot of husbands and wives, the wives don't use birth control because they're trying to conceive, and a lot of the husbands don't feel as if they should have to use condoms because they're with that person for the rest of their life, and it's to death do us part. But in some relationships, that's not the case. I actually know some husbands and wives that actually use protection because they're not trying to conceive, but for the simple fact that it's some kind of mistrust. Because if you're using protection and you're married and you're sleeping around, you're a woman and you're sleeping with your husband, every night he's laying beside you, you may feel as if, oh, he got something or he has something. Is if he suggests using protection. That is not always the case, ladies. These men have a mind of their own, just like we have one of ours. If they feel as if they're not ready to have a child or to conceive, they will wear protection. That's just how it is today in this world. But lastly, but not least, especially, it is very, very important, and I just cannot stress this enough. I'm going to keep saying it over and over again until it sinks in all of your heads. It is so important to have responsible sex. Responsible sex means being responsible. If you don't know if that person has something or not, or you haven't been with that person or not, or before, or if it's a one-night stand, any of that stuff, please always wear protection, because you don't know what's going on in that person's genital area. You don't know what's going on in their bloodstream. You just don't know what's going on with that person. So it's best for everyone to have responsible sex. Do not, I repeat, do not try and say, well, I'm gonna, you men, y'all love to say, well, just let me do what I need to do and I'll pull it out. Ladies, don't fall for that oldest line in the book, because it only takes for them to insert their penis inside of your vagina and you can get an STD or a sexually transmitted infection just that quick. It's just as serious, ladies. And men, it is very, very serious. Like I said, the best thing for you to do is to practice having safe sex. Do not, I repeat, do not have unprotected sex. Have responsible sex. Be responsible for yourself. Be responsible for your partner or your spouse. Do not allow them to catch something that you have and you could have easily prevented it. And you can easily go to a doctor or a clinic and actually get the medication that you need so that you will not spread this sexually transmitted infection or disease to another person, because you can't stress that enough, that is very wrong. But people do this every day and they just don't understand how serious it is, because everybody is not the same. That's why we're individuals. We live individual lives and we're our own person. I know for a fact that I would not have unprotected sex unless I was having unprotected sex with my spouse. There are so many things in this world that cause us to lose focus. And we could be in a relationship for 5 to 10 years with a person, and we can go out one night and have a little too many drinks and end up in the bed with a perfect stranger. And you don't even know if that stranger has a STD or STI or HIV. You don't know what they have, and you already slept with this person. You can't take it back. It's just that serious. You'll have to face everything that you do. You'll have to face your consequence and all, because you already know that it's just that important to have responsible sex. Well, this video is to inform everyone about responsible sex and how serious it is and how important it is to not just be laying around with everyone, to find that one person in your life, still have protected sex with them. When you get married, that's a different thing, but just don't go around sleeping with everybody, because it's easily to contract anything any STD, any STI, or even HIV. Thank you and have a nice